Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura. Emojos. They are so much fun. We can express ourselves by these tiny little emojos. Happy, sad, angry, frightened. Well, let's make our own, but let's make it supersized. The base of this big pillow is going to be this 32-inch floor pillow. The faces start off with this nice bright yellow. From there you have your eyes in the black and white, and a tongue sometimes with the red. It's a medium weight cotton sports fabric. And I have lighter cotton fabrics for the facial features. I'm going to fuse facial features onto the yellow face. And I'm using a product called Soft Stretch. And it can be used for both stretchable and non-stretchable fabric. To make the facial features, we need to go to the kitchen. And we need to get some shapes. Just typical bowls are going to work great. You can have oval bowls, and those will make nice big oval eyes. If we're going to have round eyes, we can have a series of different sizes. So you have the outside, and then the inside shape can be different circles. And because we're designing our own, it won't matter the size, and that's what's going to make it fun. And to cover that pillow, we're going to have a front and a back. The back is going to have a zipper on it, and that way we can take it off and wash it when we need to. Also, it's going to avoid any hand stitching. The back is also going to have a big pocket. Let's start by cutting out our big circles to cover that pillow. 3 yards of your yellow fabric is going to give you the front, the back, plus a pocket. I'm going to start and make one circle, then I'm going to use that circle as a template. In the yellows, start with a 36-inch square. Take the square and fold it in half one way and fold it in half the other way. The corner that has no raw edges, the folded corner, is where we're going to do the measurements from. So for the top, we have the 4 raw edges. If you have a large pressing surface, you can do the measurement there. If not, you just need to bring something to put underneath this corner so you can put a pin in this corner. I have a wool pressing mat I'm going to use, and I'm just going to place it in that corner. My total circle is going to be a 35-inch circle. So half that circle, we're looking at 17.5 inches. I'm going to stick a pin right in that 17.5-inch mark. Place that pin and put it right in the corner of that fold. I'm going to put it right in that corner. I'm going to have that pin go through that pressing mat, and that way that pin is going to give me a hinge to work with. Using the center of that tape measure, you're going to be able to make marks on your fabric. Keep moving this tape measure, marking right along that edge. Those marks will form a circle. And with all 4 layers together, just follow the marks. So I've had the 4 edges at the top. The fold was in the center. I have that big circle that I need done. For the pocket, we need to do 1 circle exactly the same as this, but to make the pocket, it's going to be folded. If you don't have enough fabric, you can just cut half a circle. To make the back piece with the zipper, we're going to put the zipper in fabric first, then cut the circle after. I have my 36 inches by the width of the fabric. In this case, it's 44 inches. Cut a piece along the top at about 6 to 7 inches and leave that selvage on because we're going to use that selvage for the zipper. With that top piece cut off, I want to take that selvage and bring it to the center, and the selvage along the other bottom and bring it up to the top. So both the selvages are facing each other, and you have both the wrong sides facing you. Match up those seams and pin those edges together. Then I'm going to be able to measure my zipper. It's also a 22-inch zipper. If you only have a small zipper, you're not going to be able to put that large pillow in that zipper. Put the zipper right in the middle of this fabric. Where the zipper ends, I'm going to make a mark on my fabric. Where the zipper starts, I'm going to make a mark on my fabric. So the opening is going to be in between those marks. From the marks out, we need to stitch a strong seam, so you'll back stitch, secure that, and go down. The center mark, you're still going to want to make some stitching, but set your machine to a basting stitch, which is a really big stitch, because this is going to come out after. So I have very large basting stitches and then nice little stitches along the edge. Press the seams so they're open and flat. Transfer that top mark just along this top edge so you're going to be able to see it better. We're going to stitch this zipper down, but the first thing is going to be basting it. So there are a couple of ways we can baste it. You can baste it by hand, you can put pins in, or you can secure it down with some type of adhesive. I'm going to use a product. It's called Steam a Seam. And what it is a little roll. It looks like a little roll of tape. And that has a little adhesive on the back side. So with my zipper facing up, I'm going to run that tape right along the edge of the zipper. It will stick right down just by rubbing your hands along it because the one side is already sticky. And do the second side. Once that adhesive tape has been put off, you're going to be able to remove that top paper and the adhesive is going to stick onto that zipper. Now I can take that zipper, flip it over, so the right side of the zipper is going to go along this seam. I want to line up the center of the zipper, which are the teeth, along that seam. You're going to be able to just put a piece of fabric over top and just press with the iron. Then turn it over and press from the other side. I can now go to the machine and stitch right along the edge of the zipper on both sides. And you can do a little row stitching to hold them down on the ends. Once that zipper is stitched down, we're going to be able to take out that basting stitch. Once you remove that basting, the zipper is exposed. You have an area where we're going to be able to use it to stuff the pillow inside. Put this aside and that circle is going to be cut out at the same time as we put all the layers together. Now we get to work on the face. We're going to take these common shapes to make two eyes and a mouth. The first shape is the white part of the eye, and that's normally the biggest piece. So we can start with the biggest plate. You can either use a round plate or an oval plate. I have round. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to take my first shape and trace it on the paper side of my Heat and Bond Soft and Stretch. The adhesive is the rough side of the paper. I'm going to take a pencil and trace my plate twice because I want two eyes. Cut it out in a rough shape. Don't cut along that line. We're going to do that after. I'm going to take that glue side and put it on the wrong side of the fabric. Once that adhesive has been stuck on, you're going to be able to cut through the paper and the fabric and cut out the shape. My two big white eyes are ready to go. Next, we're going to add a center color, which is normally black, but we can do it any color we want. And we can do any shape we want. I'm just going to want something a little bit smaller. So I'm going to be able to try different size bowls until I get a shape and the size that I want. You don't have to have them both the same. These shapes I'm going to cut out of black. I'm going to trace them on my paper so that the paper side is up. Roughly cut out those circles and stick the glue side on top of the wrong side of some black fabric. The circle shapes are really easy to cut once you fuse these down onto the fabric. In the inside of the eyes, there are a little sparkle, and they can be many different shapes. They can be stars, half moons, squares. Any little shape can go inside. Draw two shapes to go inside the eyes. You don't need to secure these on right away. We can do that after. I just want to see a placement for the mouth. More kitchen plates will come in handy. We can have an oval shape even if we only want to use the bottom piece of it. A large oval plate, again, we can just use one piece of it. And, of course, a big circle. I want a nice big smile, so I'm going to use the edge of this plate. That's going to be my first line. I could just move it up and do another line, and it's going to be a big smile. I'm going to roughly cut this out, fuse it onto some black fabric, just like I did the eyes. A tongue is another thing you can add. They're not that hard to draw. I'm going to use my mouth as a guide. Just place my paper over top. This is just going to give me a guide. A tongue is very similar to a heart. So the top shape is that shape, the starting of a heart. But instead of coming down to a point, you're just going to come and make a circular shape. The top of the heart is the inside, and the larger end is the outside. I'm going to take this and fuse it onto some red. We can continue to add shapes to give him more personality. We can add some eyebrows and a little chin mark, add nose, hands, whatever you want in order to give him some personality. From here, we can lay out the pieces the way we want them. You can overlap the eyes, have the eyes go perfectly straight, on an angle. No matter how you go, it's going to be fine. Once you have the placement that you like, we can take off this back paper so that we can fuse all of these pieces together. When you take the paper off, the fabric is going to have that adhesive on it. I would recommend at this point to bring it to some kind of a pressing surface so you don't have to pick it up and move it. That way, once it's all laid down, you're going to be able to just fuse all of those pieces on. The adhesive is permanent, so you could stop right here if you'd like. I want to put a small row of zigzag all the way around my little pieces. That's going to secure them on, but it also is going to play a part in shadowing. If you have pieces that you can put on after, you can do them separately. For example, his tongue. I'm going to be able to outline his mouth with the thread stitching first, then put his tongue on, fuse it on, and then if I want to change the color, I can go right over top of it. So you can build them up in layers. Once your face is done, just give it a good press. We're going to match the front up to the back. You can have the zipper anywhere you want. I'm going to have mine sitting up at the top. Open the zipper just a little bit because you're going to need it for turning this entire thing right side. Place the front face onto the back of the fabric so that the zipper is right side up and the fabric is right side. So the right sides are going to be together. You're going to want that zipper to stay within an area of your seam allowance. You can smooth all of the edges out and use this top piece as a template and cut the circle out. By doing it this way, I know that the front and the back are going to match. I have another circle that I have folded in half, and that's going to be a pocket. You could do a half circle and just turn the edge over to finish this area up. The pocket needs to go in between the two layers. Just roll the first layer up and that pocket goes down next. Because it's that half circle, it's going to fit that edge. This is the right side and this is the right side. Fold that front right back down. So the front is facing down. Now we're going to be able to pin this and take it to the machine and stitch it. And to keep some strength along these edges, I would recommend a thicker seam. You can even use the serger and stitch all the way around. Just remember to keep that zipper opened in the back. Turn this right sides out. If the pocket is covering the face, just flip it over to the back. So we have the front and the back with this nice big zipper. And we have to get this big pillow into the zipper. Leave the bag on. Just take out any of the paper or directions that are inside the bag. Leaving it into the bag, this plastic is going to help stick it right in here. And then we're going to rip that plastic out after. And this is where you might need a little helping hand. Put that pillow over top of the opening and then crush that pillow down. And you're going to roll it as you put it in. Once that pillow's in there, you can reach your hands in and just rip out that bag. Do up the zipper. We now have our very own, very large, personal emoji. Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.